I was going to say we have a monster running order for you on this week's AL service on the ACM Training YouTube channel, but that would be really cheesy. Actually, it's kind of difficult second album syndrome for us. The first episode was absolutely fantastic, and I can say that with utter conviction because frankly only 4 people were watching and they're highly unlikely to contradict my assertion. Actually, I'm pleased to report that since then more than 250 people have watched the edited highlights, and we're determined that the second edition this Friday from 11 o'clock on the ACM Training YouTube channel will be just as good, if not better. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that by having a cracking running order. So what's in this week's edition, Richard, you ask me? In this week's edition, we're going to be looking at security concerns around Zoom. Zoom that's being used by many companies, our own included, to keep in touch with clients, to deliver online training sessions. This week, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, appeared to endorse Zoom by having a picture of himself looking through Zoom at remote cabinet colleagues. But at the same time, or very shortly afterwards, the Ministry of Defence banned the use of Zoom for all its employees. So what does that mean for the rest of us who sit somewhere between the Ministry of Defence and its hyper-security concerns, of course, on the one hand, and tiny little businesses like ACM Training at the other? Should we be concerned? What are the practicalities? Are there measures that we can take in order to make sure that our data is safe and secure? So that's one of the things that we'll be looking at. We'll also be looking at the importance of humour in presentations. It's something that I'm not terribly good at, so we've got an expert coming in, a stand-up comedian no less, to talk about how, when I say coming in, not coming in of course, but you know what I mean, virtually coming in, to tell us how we can use humour to really empower our presentations. And I think that's probably more important now when the presentations aren't, if you like, face-to-face with the audience, but are facilitated through mechanisms like the internet and Zoom and so on. So he's going to give us some hints and tips about how we can make the very best of humour to, as I say, empower our presentations. Plus, of course, the usual mix of chatter around everything online and especially online training, including, I should add, the launch of our very first online training courses. More details from 11 o'clock on Friday on the AL service, ACM Training's YouTube channel. See you then. Oh, and if you're worried or wondering what this fella's here for, self-operating the camera, it's hugely difficult because when you're over there actually setting the focus right, you can't be over here focusing on yourself. You can't be in 2 places at once. So what I do is I use this fella, and if he's in focus, well then I'm in focus. Make sense?